Recently on the Wayspotters podcast, you heard my dad say...
It's some place called Great Wolf Lodge. I'm like, we'll take it. We'll take it. No. He's like, no. I'm like, no, we'll take it. We'll take it. Hello, agents, trainers, keepers, pilots, eighth-wallers, and our beloved explorers and wayfinders. Welcome to episode number 145 of the Wayspotters podcast. Here at Wayspotters, we want to do everything we can to help you become a better wayfinder. As we've always said, we want to educate, entertain, and excite. Wayspotters is brought to you by the good people at the Pokémon Professor Network, and today is October the 25th. Friday, October the 25th. I'm Jamal, and I'm here with my main man, Chris. What's going on?
Not much, buddy. How you doing?
Man, I am doing good. I'm doing good. So when people hear this, we've got some really cool stuff planned for season 4, which is going to be here before you know it. So won't tell you exactly what we have, but we're going to have some new stuff for season 4. So looking forward to that, and just kind of looking forward to seeing how the Wayfarer team is going to finish out the year. Q4 is upon us. We've got a survey we're going to talk about coming in the near future. We are going to have a Wayfarer challenge that's going to focus on edits, and who knows what else is going to happen. So that's where we are.
Yeah, man, it's going to be exciting next couple months. I'm excited for when they drop the Wayfarer challenge information. So
yes, yeah, I love what you said last week. How Tina was like, Friday afternoon, type this up, mic drop, and walk away.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, that was amazing.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and get on to the news, because I think we actually have some news this week.
We do, actually.
And now, the latest Niantic news from the Wayspotters podcast, presented by the Pokémon Professor Network.
The winners for the Scandiverse contest were announced, so congrats to the 3 winners. I don't have the names. I meant to look them up, but I didn't. I know that all 3 of them, none of them will rust, so...
Right.
Womp womp. But congratulations to the 3 people who did win $500. And we will keep you updated when they have another challenge. There was like 30 or 40 posts in some of those threads, so they got some activity in there. They got some people.
Yep, sure did.
Still nothing on the Wayfarer challenge, like you mentioned. But I suspect that they'll drop the news in a couple of hours from now. So if they did, you'll see future Chris and Jamal cut in right now. Guess not. I guess they didn't drop it, so we'll have to wait. We'll keep you updated. Either way.
Right, yeah, we'll keep you updated. So if you saw future Chris and Jamal, then yes. If you didn't, then no.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of surveys, there was a survey dropped, and it appears there's been an issue with users who took the survey in Japanese or German. There was an issue with a bit of a data leak, and some people's answers were bleeding into other people's surveys. So they were hitting next, and all of the answers were already filled out. Like, even in the text boxes, it had what people were typing, right? So there's a little bit of a privacy issue there. With your answers potentially being seen by other users. There was no, from what I understand, there was no user data, like identifiable user data that was leaked. Right. But unless you put your
username in your text box.
Yeah. Tintino said that they patched it, but then a couple of people were like, no, you didn't. So I tweeted out last night, maybe don't do the survey until they fixed it. It looks like it's only affecting German and Japanese users, but I said on Twitter or X, maybe don't do it until you hear back from the Wayfarer team or from us. So pay attention to our X, and I'll let you know, or one of us will let you know when they've actually fixed the issue. So.
Yep, and dude, you're like Johnny on the spot when those things drop. I'll be out and about, and I'm like, oh, the Wayspotters podcast just tweeted. Oh, Chris, yeah. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that in the Discord, and boom, there it is. Mm-hmm. I'm like, look at that, man of the people.
I'm all over it. Gotta get the information out there.
That's right. All right. So speaking of surveys, let's go ahead and jump into topic number 1.
This is Sarah Amanda. Get ready for topic number 1.
All right, so topic number 1. Did you get the survey? And we've got you covered. So, Chris, we're all minding our collective businesses on Wednesday. Wednesday night to be exact. And Niantic just decided to drop a little survey on us. So as you know, I was in the process of writing the show, and I saw it pop up, and I'm like, finally, some news hits on a week when it's a Jamal show, and now I've got a chance to write the show. Boom. Because I had a completely different show in mind that I was kind of putting together. And I was like, you know what? This is my opportunity. So I kind of scrapped it, and we'll get to that later. We've got it. It's so funny. I just as a little aside, Chris, I remember when I was talking to some people about the podcast when we were going to get it started, you know, Lachlan and I way back when, and people were like, oh, that's going to be a fun 5-episode podcast. You guys will never have anything to talk about. Here's how you nominate a POI. Here's how you vote on a POI. And that's about it. And I'm like, I'm willing to roll the dice. And now we're 145 episodes deep, and we've got like all these topics to talk about, and we can't fit them in, and we're having to bump things and kick things down because stuff pops up and stuff happens. So you've got a whole show written like that we could record right now. It's like ready to go. So anyhow, what I wanted to do, Chris, is kind of go over the topic for the people. So since the survey is having some issues, and there may be some explorers listening to us today on Sunday that haven't taken it yet because it's broken, we'll go through and give you guys kind of a full preview, and we'll go from there. So what I'll do, Chris, is I'll take the odd numbers, and I'll have you take the even numbers. All right,
sounds good.
And so we'll do the first one, and we'll pull it up on the screen if it's necessary. But this is probably a lot of audio. The video, maybe not. We'll see if there's one that's of specific interest. We'll pull it up. So if you don't mind, I'm going to go over them first. So you good with that? Let's go. So the Wayfarer survey. Question number 1 is, which Niantic games do you currently play? And so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 options. Option number 1 is Pokemon Go. Option number 2 is Ingress. Option number 3 is Pikmin Bloom. Option number 4 is Peridot. And option number 5 is Monster Hunter. So as you guys probably guessed, I checked 3 of the boxes. And the other 2 I kind of waved at because I kind of waved at them. So I'm an Ingress guy, a Pikmin guy, and a Pokemon guy. And I'm only a Pikmin person once a day. I kind of log in and do like one thing, and then I log back out. So that's the extent of my Pikmin Bloom. So
that's the extent of my Ingress.
Yeah, there you go. Keep your streaks alive. So the next part goes into it comes with the preface. Please think about the past 6 months of experience with the Niantic Wayfarer program when responding to the following question. So I'll let you take number 2.
Number 2 was overall, how satisfied are you with Niantic Wayfarer? And it goes from 1, not at all satisfied, to 5, completely satisfied. I think I put 4 for this one, because there's issues with Niantic Wayfarer that are kind of irksome, that we talk about this on the show at length, right? Speaking of topics that we can have Wayfarer on, right? Like we do whole episodes on things that annoy us about Wayfarer. But overall, I think it's a really good system. I have a lot of fun. Like we spend an hour talking about it every week, right? So if I wasn't a 4 or 5, then what am I doing here, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I kind of come in at a 4 also. I don't know if any game will ever give you a 5 unless you're on the development team and it's your ideas. Because I think both of us have a lot of ideas that if we were in charge, we would do that would push me over to the 5. But given that it's not our game and not our ideas, I think it's a solid 4, man. Like, especially if we're going back 6 months, that puts us in the realm of Emily. And Emily has really made Wayfarer fun for me again. Emily has really made me want to get out and do things. And I know we're going to get into Emily a little bit later, but just to kind of answer that question, overall, they get a 4. So I'm pretty satisfied with the overall state of Wayfarer. All right, so number 3. This is a funny one. How did you find out about Niantic Wayfarer? So there's 1, 2, 3. So there's 6 answers, right? So answer number 1 is from another player. Discovered it on my own through Ingress or Pokemon Go. From a Niantic Wayfarer campaign email. From a Niantic live event. From a Niantic website. And other. So Chris, I put other. I could have put discovered it on my own through Ingress or Pokemon, but I put other because I kind of come to it from OPR. So technically, I was doing Wayfarer before Wayfarer was Wayfarer. And I think this question, the way I interpret it, is for people who know it as Wayfarer and never knew it as OPR. So that's why I put other. So that's my answer.
I also put other because I discovered Wayfarer further than 6 months ago.
Yeah. Yes. See, look at you. You're being very literal. I like that. Yeah.
I am. Yeah. They said, please think of the last 6 months of your experience with the Niantic Wayfarer program when responding to the following questions. So I put other. I discovered Wayfarer further than 6 months ago. I literally wrote it in the box. So
I wrote it in the box. I wrote in. I put in there. I put in something like, I was OPR. I was OG OPR before Wayfarer was Wayfarer. I put something like that. So if someone in Germany or Japan sees that was me.
That's awesome.
All
right. Number 4. I feel like they probably should have rearranged these questions. Maybe that's some feedback from the Wayfarer team. Number 4 was, when did you first join the Niantic Wayfarer program? And it's in the last 3 months, in the last 3 to 6 months, in the last 7 to 12 months, 1 to 2 years ago, 3 to 5 years ago, or over 5 years ago. I joined in 2019. It was September, so I believe that is over 5 years ago. I didn't look. I think.
Yeah, I think it's like 5 years in a month.
Yeah.
5 years in a month. Yeah. And I'm in the same. I'm over 5 years ago. I was looking to see exactly when I joined, and I will tell you, Chris, my first ever nomination was June the 9th, 2019. No, that can't be right. Is that right? Yeah, June the 9th, 2019. Well, that's in Wayfarer, so
yeah.
I think it was before that. Anyhow, when I look at my Wayfarer, that's as far back as it goes. It had to have been before that, but anyhow, so I've been doing this for quite a while also. So,
my first, I did an edit in OPR, right? So the first thing on my list is from 2018, from April 29th, 2018, sorry. So I've been at this a long time.
I don't know why everything on mine goes back to 2019. That's so weird. I know I did stuff in 2018. Yeah. I'll have to go look somewhere else to see if I can find it. So very interesting. All right. So question number 5, how often have you participated in Niantic Wayfarer in the last 3 months? All right. Now this one can be, whenever you get survey questions like this can be kind of embarrassing and kind of eye-opening. So I'll go from bottom to top this time. I stopped using Wayfarer. I've never used Wayfarer. Monthly, a couple times a day, weekly, a couple times a week, and daily. So fortunately or unfortunately, I fall into that daily category. I review every day. I've really made it a point to do 4, 5, 10 a day, every day. Now I don't nominate every day like I used to, because quite honestly, I'm running out of things to nominate in my play area.
Yeah.
But I would consider myself a daily user.
Yep, I'm the same way. I review almost every day. There are days on the weekend when I don't get to it. But even then, on the weekends when I'm out and about, I'm almost doing an edit almost every day if I'm out, right? So, but I haven't done a single edit.
Yeah, it was good, perfect.
I haven't done a single edit. I have a notepad on my phone with addresses and Wayspot names and edits that I want to do, and it's getting extensive. So
nice.
My wife might not see me for a couple of days when the next challenge jumps.
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right. Number 6. How strongly do you agree or disagree with the following statements? So let's do these one at a time.
Okay.
Wayfarer is easy to use. Strongly agree, disagree, neither agree nor disagree, agree, or strongly agree. I put agree. I think there are aspects of Wayfarer that aren't as intuitive as they should be. And the documentation sometimes isn't the greatest for certain aspects of it. But that's by design. right?
Right.
That's how Niantic has designed it. And that's how Niantic wants it to be. And they kind of rely on the community to impart that information on the community, for lack of a better way to describe it. But I would agree here.
So this one's difficult because I've been doing this for a long time. So I might strongly agree that Wayfarer is easy to use because I've gone through the bumps and bruises of OPR and all of the things when Wayfarer first started. But if I'm a brand new, like for example, if I could ever convince my wife to do it, would she find it easy? Would she find it? Would she disagree, agree? Or a buddy of mine? So I'm gonna go with you and say I agree that it's easy to use, but I think I think I'll speak for me. I think it's easy to use because it's almost like second nature now.
Yes.
So a brand new person, if they were going to say it's easy to use, I would say they would probably disagree because they're going to need 30 minutes on the criteria before you start reviewing, or else you don't know what you're doing. You just don't know. So I think this question is going to be skewed towards people who know what they're doing already. I think if you had this question go out to people who've only used Wayfarer in 2024, I think it would be more on the disagree side.
Mm-hmm. No, 100%. Absolutely. Right. Which leads us perfectly into the next one. Wayfarer is immediately intuitive for new users. I would disagree. Right.
Yeah. So did I. Yeah.
I think that if you're a new user, and I've had this conversation with new users before who have picked it up and gone, yeah, no. Right. Because, and I think a lot of this has to do with the onboarding, right? Like when you had the quiz, you at least had some sort of visual, you had to do it to even get access to it, right? So like you had to read the criteria and then you had to pass a test. And people, at least when they had the test, had some sort of, okay, I get it. But the way that it is now, I don't think it's enough to initiate someone into the process. And then when they get into it, and again, it's by design, but like especially when you have, like even on the new forums, it's like I nominated a Pokestop. Where is it? It's the number one asked question on the forum.
Yes.
And it will forever and ever and ever be the number one asked forum on the questions. I asked 0, funny enough, because every time somebody asks that question, someone inevitably posts a link to the GoHub article that he wrote about S2 cells.
Yeah.
And I'm like, out of curiosity, he actually never answered me, so I got to tag him again. I go, out of curiosity, can you tell how many times someone accesses that article from a certain link, right? Like, I want to know how many times people from the forums go to that article. And he said he
how many hits does it have?
Yeah. Like, because it's inevitably, like, it's posted at least once, twice a day. And people post a link to that article. And to have a system designed where you have to go to an external source to get answers, it's not intuitive. Like, I'm sorry, it's not, right?
Yep.
But that's
when I think of intuitiveness for new users, here's the number one. Now you're right. I think your point might be better than mine, but here's my point. Let's say I'll use my wife for an example again, right? Let's say I get my wife to sit down I say, hey, you're going to do 50 reviews, right? So let's say she looks at the criteria. She's got a good idea what she's doing. And she sits down to do reviews and she sees one come up on the screen. And then down on the bottom, she sees all of the currently in-game POIs.
Yeah.
And says, this one is very similar to the 3 that are near it that are in the game. But I would go, that's actually not eligible. But what do you mean it's not eligible? There's 3 right here that are in the game, and they're almost identical to this one. Well, okay, back in 2020, Niantic Casey said this, and then in 2022, Niantic LC did this, and then so it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yep.
To do that.
And this goes back to when we talked about approve versus remove, right? Like they don't want to remove things that aren't eligible now, but in doing so, you're sending the wrong message to new wayfinders because they're looking at stuff, and you're right. They're looking at stuff and going, well, I see it there. Well, clearly it's okay. Well, no. Right.
Yeah.
So,
right. So that's what, to me, makes it not intuitive for new users.
Yep. 100%. 100%. I lost right away. Next question. I understand how Wayfarer works. I put strongly agree to this because I understand how Wayfarer works. It didn't ask me what I think about other people. It asked me what I thought, so I put strongly agree.
Yeah. Yep. Agree there too. And I think we've kind of talked about why.
Yep. Yeah. When I'm stuck, I know where to go for help. I put strongly agree because I know where to go for help.
Yes.
Right. It's on the forums. And I think that Niantic does a good job of providing the links to the forums. Like, it's right on the contribution page. I would like to see a link to the forums in the contribution management section in Pogo and Ingress. Right.
Yes.
Like, even with the first page, it's like, hey, you whatever, like when you pull it up, blah, 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 you're going to nominate a Pokestop, blah, blah, blah. Here's a link to the forums if you have concerns, questions, blah, 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 right? That would be nice. I would like to see that in the app, but I think they do a pretty good job of getting it out there.
So now, when you go into Pokemon Go, at least I'm on the Pokemon Go app right now, and you pull up, you click on uploads, and it says Pokestop contribution, new Pokestop. You have 40 remaining. Underneath it says nomination guidelines. That's good. I don't remember that when that went in because I never nominate through Pokemon, but nomination guidelines is good. I would love to see that button to be a little more prominent, or even have the link to the forums there. Or like, you have questions, frequently asked questions, and it takes you to the forum, and maybe it brings up the S2 article you were talking about. Maybe it defaults to that on the forum or something along those lines. So now, if I look at Ingress and I go to Ingress, it does not give me the nomination criteria through Ingress. Ingress just brings you right up to the screen with the map on it, and you just go. So there's no prompts at all there. So
there's a button that says tips at the top. And it says choose something to become a portal, blah, 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 blah. I would like to see, it says portals should have educational and cultural value, and their locations should be safe and accessible to pedestrians. Avoid nominating locations at private residences, locations that are seasonal or non-permanent, or locations that could interfere with emergency vehicles, which is great. I love that. Right below that, it should say, here's a link to the forums if you have questions about your nomination or want help with your nomination, right? And then you could put a link to the nomination help section of the forum, right?
That question mark and
someone
tips.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That question mark and that tip should be more prominent and bigger, because I don't know if I've ever noticed that. Just to be honest, I've nominated 1,000 things and I've never really, I guess I've seen it because it's right next to the exit button, but that's the first time I've ever clicked on the tips button.
Yeah, so I think that's a great little paragraph, but there's an open little section there too, and there's enough room for you to say link to the forums here, right? And I think some people are just gonna be like, "Ooh, forums, no," right? Ick. Right. But there are people out there who will like, I have a question about this nomination. Should I'm on the fence whether or not I should nominate it or not. Ooh, a forum? I'm gonna go ask. Yeah. And I think you could save yourself a world of hurt having a link to the forums in that section there. Next, I would recommend Wayfarer to a friend. I put agree to that one. I wavered between strongly and agree, and I pump up Wayfarer whenever I can. So maybe I should have clicked strongly agree, but I put agree to that one.
Me too. I'm always wearing one of the sweatshirts whenever I go out to play Pokemon or Ingress, raid hours, things like that. So everybody's like, "Oh, you host a podcast?" I'm like, yeah. So I'm always talking about it, whether I'm talking about the podcast or I'm talking about Wayfarer in general. So I would say I've nominated it or recommended it to many friends.
Yeah.
All right. So number 7, which of the following activities have you done through the Wayfarer program? All right. So submitted a new Wayspot, submitted a Wayspot edit, reviewed nominations, had a nomination approved/rejected, upgraded a nomination, participated in the Wayfarer challenge, or none of the above. So I'm everything except for none of the above. I've done it all. So.
Yeah.
I should have been all of the above.
Yes, I was just about to say that. I would have loved to have seen an all of the above checkbox.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Instead of having to click every single one individually. But yeah, I've done everything. So that one was an easy one.
Now, they left a few things off. Reported something for removal. There's a couple things they could have put on there that probably more advanced users have done that, other people haven't. So, yeah.
Yep. No, 100%. Number 8. This is another one of those not at all satisfied to completely satisfied. How satisfied are you with the following Wayfarer experiences? Here's an interesting one. Your onboarding experience. So I wavered on this question because my onboarding experience was far different than the onboarding experience that new users get. Right? So I took this section because it says at the beginning, think of your last 6 months. So in the last 6 months, they've changed the onboarding. It's different than it was, right? So I put not at all satisfied because I am not at all satisfied with the current new user onboarding experience.
Right.
The way it's currently set up. So
I agree.
What did you put? Yeah, good.
I put what did I put on this onboarding experience? I put slightly satisfied. I don't want to sound like a gatekeeper, but I think there should be a test. We've got Emily that filters out a lot of coal, but in a test, just because it's a test, let's stop calling it a test. Let's call it initiation or best practices. But you could have something that would explain to someone that current POIs of the game might be grandfathered in or might not be currently eligible. So don't use that as your source of reference. I would love to see something like that. So I think if we're looking at it from the past 6 months, I would go slightly satisfied. I think it's good. I think the way that they have the onboarding experience now brings, it's like the milkshake. It brings all the boys to the yard. But
yeah.
But you might not want all the boys in the yard. Does that make sense?
Yes, there are certain boys that you would not want in your yard. I completely agree.
I think that might be a drop for a couple shows from now. So you might be hearing that. In an intro.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I've got daughters. There are definitely boys I don't want in my yard.
Yes.
Next, your contribution management experience. I believe I put completely satisfied for this because I'm pretty happy with the way that the contribution management is set up right now.
With edits in there, boom.
With edits in there and the ability to kind of withdraw your edits now. No, I put very satisfied because I would like, there's a couple things that I would like to be able to change, but I don't know if we're able to get them. I would like the ability to upload a new main photo to a submission because a couple of times I've taken a picture on my phone and I examined it on my phone as best I can, but you get home and you look it up in the contribution management page and you're like, that is not the quality of photo that I would like to strive to. That's not Saramanda level photo, right? Which is the goal. So I would like the ability to kind of run it back out.
We've got a perfect example. Right? We have a perfect example of that. Remember the picture I took last weekend?
Yep.
So I haven't posted this anywhere except to Chris and a couple other people, but I took a picture of this mural and I was standing in front of the door and my reflection is full on the far right side of the picture. You can see me standing there, my reflection, holding the camera, taking the picture, and I submitted it and I got approved. But when you go and you view it in Pokemon Go, the way the circle is, and you don't see me. So it ended up coming out okay. But I was like, man, if I could have uploaded a new picture, I would have done it. But this legitimately was in Mount Holly and I'm in Charlotte, and that's like a 25-minute drive, and it's just far enough that I will not go back over there just to take another picture unless it gets
Right.
denied, and it didn't. So, it's just far enough away where I wouldn't go back over there just to take a picture.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which is fine. Yeah, there's a couple of times that I've taken pictures. I'm like, that's not great. I wish I could run out and get a better one, right? But it is what it is. But it's minor nitpicky things that I would like to see quality of life improvements. But without it being in there, I think it's fantastic.
And if I showed this picture to Sarah Amanda, she would definitely cringe. So unless she asks to see it, I won't show it to her.
Oh, she's gonna ask to see it now. She's gonna listen to this and be like, Jamal, I need to see it.
Yeah. I don't know what happened to it.
Oh, it's gone. I don't know. Next, your experience reviewing nominations. I put very satisfied. I think it's good. Again, nitpicky things that I would like to see changed, but nothing really major. I've discovered in the last couple of days that I have the plugins, right?
Yeah.
And I have the delay your review 30 seconds ish, but it doesn't work in certain sections. So I was blowing through reviews a couple days ago, and my rating went down to good. Because it was just like I just rejected so many things in a row that were just awful. And I was like, I don't need to take 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes to decide that this picture's upside down. No, reject this.
Right. Yep.
But my review, so I was like, okay, now I'm going to wait 45 seconds before so now I'm back up to great. So I've discovered that if you go too quickly, it does affect your rating.
Right.
I can tell you that for a fact.
So time taken for contributions to reach a decision, I'm completely satisfied. I've had 25 nominations approved, lickety split. I mean, we're talking on the 22nd hour since I nominated, it was approved. I have zero problems. I mean, I'm like a pig in slop. I'm so happy, and even the ones that are going into community voting, I don't care, because if I submit 10 things and 7 get approved and 3 go into community voting, I'm fine with that. I'm nowhere near Agent X level where like Emily I'll damn near instantly approves it because it's Agent X. But I'm completely satisfied with the time it takes to reach the decision.
Yep, same with me. I have no issues with that. Rejection reasons for your rejected nominations, I put very satisfied. I think they could clean that up a little bit, especially with the Emily rejections. I don't know if they'll ever get there with Emily, other than kind of getting her to specify why she rejected stuff. But I mean, other than that, I guess it's pretty self-explanatory, right? So I think I'm pretty good with that.
I'm right there with you. I don't like Wayfarer criteria because Emily is rejecting things on some criteria. Just tell us what it is, and because there isn't a criteria called Wayfarer criteria. It's something, right? So just tell us. Other than that, I'm
exactly good. Lastly, Wayfarer challenge participation. I put very satisfied. I think that you did a good job of getting people engaged. I would like to see a badge similar to the OPR Live tick badge in Pogo. Pokemon Trainer Jay brought that up on the Discord. I think it's a great idea, but I don't know how they would implement that or what it would be called or what they would give it for. I don't know, right? So other than that, I think they do a good job with the Wayfarer challenge. We'll see what the next one brings.
Yeah. Yep. And I'm with you there. I've got no issue with the Wayfarer challenge. I think putting together a global challenge for a game like this is difficult. And the fact that they've been pulling it off quarter after quarter is good. Are there problems with it? Sure. Right. You do one in Germany, you do one in Japan. You're alienating a lot of the world that doesn't speak those languages or have plugins. So there's always going to be problems. But for the most part, I think they've nailed it. So, all right. So number 9, how strongly do you agree or disagree with the following statements? The Wayfarer community is easy to navigate. For me, very easy. For my wife, I think it would be very difficult. But if we're just talking for me, an experienced Wayfarer, I'm going to say, I think I said agree. I don't think I said strongly agree because, again, if you're not the developer or you're on the code team, it's not your idea, it's not your doing. So I'm going to go agree on that the community is easy to navigate.
Yeah, I put agree. I think the forums is easy to get around. I think it's easy to get to it. I think the community is welcoming for the most part, but it's a bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Intimidating to get into for some people.
Facts. Yep.
Right.
Wayfarer communicates in a timely manner regarding major issues. You know what's so funny about this, Chris? We're waiting for a response about the survey, and they have a question about it on the survey.
Yeah.
And we were just talking before we hit live that no one from the team has replied to the last message. So respond in a timely manner. What is a timely manner? Without putting in recency bias of the last couple of days, I would say agree. I think of all of the Niantic teams, the Wayfarer team has put their neck out there the most. Could you imagine if Pokemon Go had a forum, what it would look like? Or if the Pokemon Go Twitter like interacted with people, like Wayfarer is far away and ahead the best communicating team at Niantic. Now, I say that having never interacted with Monster Hunter, don't even know what their social. I mean, I do, but you get my point. Like, I don't follow their stuff, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say out of the three that I mainly interact with, Wayfarer, Ingress, and Pokemon Go, Wayfarer is by far the best. So I would say agree that they communicate in a timely fashion.
I completely agree with your agree. I would like to see them use their Twitter more, but I think overall they do a very good job of getting on the forums and being like, hey, they're answering posts, they're bringing information. I think they do a very, very good job.
And I can understand why they don't use Twitter more. I mean, think of it this way. So Niantic Aaron, Niantic LC, Niantic Atlas are very good about interacting on the forum when something pops up. Could you imagine JRE Seawolf or some of these other trolls like getting involved in something on Twitter that they have no business getting involved with, and then the answer getting all twisted? So the Wayfarer forums is a place that they can control, and they can, I hate to use the word censor, but they can moderate the answers. So I understand why.
Speaking of communication, Tintino finally posted. Thanking somebody for the screen recorder, and he says, our apologies, we applied the fix in quotes after testing it on several people, so we felt as though it was resolved. We'll take another look, and if all else fails, we'll resend the survey email. So there you go.
There you go.
We were just banging on them for their communication, and they communicated. So
there you go. Like I said, I think by far they're the best. I mean, I don't ever I couldn't imagine Pokemon Go like responding to someone saying, hey, I got lagged out on GBL and the firestorm that would start, or or something like that. Anyhow, all right, so the next one is the Wayfarer team improved their overall communication quality and frequency. I said strongly agree, because if we go back from the days of the old forum to the new forum, it's night and day. So I don't know if there's a whole lot to elaborate on there. That's a strongly agree for me.
Yep. Completely agree.
All right. The Wayfarer community is welcoming and supportive. Okay. All right. Let's talk here. Do you want to start on this one?
All I have to say about that is it depends on where you go. The forums, yes. Reddit, maybe not so much.
Right. Exactly. And the forums also, like, God love the people who post a lot on the forums, but I've shared with you, and I've shared with a couple of ambos, that I think some people overhelp and overshare, and they are trying to be well-meaning and helpful, and they come off patronizing and condescending. Again, I've been doing this for a while, and I get it. But some of the newer people that are like, this is the first time so-and-so was posted, welcome them to the community. And they have a question that if they weren't brand new, they would know the answer to. And some people just kind of give them this kind of like, duh. And then they give them the answer. And it's kind of like, if I was brand new, I wouldn't want to come back. Or some people were like, why don't you look for the answer before you ask it? It's like, come on, they just ask the question, answer the dang question. So I remember I showed you a couple of responses that I had to people, and I'm like, hey, here's something you might not know. If you have other questions, feel free to reach out. But my answer to this one was neither agree nor disagree, because I think the community is welcoming and supportive, but at the same time, I don't. I think it's cliquey. I think it's very cliquey. I think the people who are in the top 10 or 15 of the leaderboard who post all the time get tired of saying the same things all the time, and they come off a little bit snarky. And I think the newer people kind of get turned off by that. So I went right down the middle.
I would agree. You're right. You're definitely not wrong. I think that there are people on the forums who are trying way too hard to be overactive and over helpful because they want to apply to be an ambassador next year.
Yeah.
And I don't think it shows. Like it absolutely shows. And there are people on the forums who don't fully read messages to comprehend them to try and help. They just read messages and then spout keywords. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't think that you understand what they're asking, and you're just info dumping on them, and it's not helpful.
Yes. Info dump. I think that's it.
Yeah. I think for the most part, it's okay. The forums are way better than Reddit. Like if you're a new user and you go ask a quote unquote stupid question on Reddit, you will get absolutely destroyed.
Yes. Yes, you will.
Probably quit Pogo. So I just
avoid and as a active Wayfarer and Pogo and English player, I go in there and I get destroyed for having an opinion that I think is right that doesn't follow the mob opinion. It's kind of like in Pokemon Go, if you say, wow, Mawa Raid Day was great. I had 35 people at my park for Mawa Raid Day. The mob is going to go, you live in a city, you SOB. I live out here and there's only one lake and 2 trees. And it's kind of like, whoa, I just had an opinion. I'll just stay off of Reddit. So, yeah.
It's like Maud Flanders screaming, won't someone think of the rural trainer?
Right, exactly.
God
all right,
forbid.
I feel
happy.
Yeah, exactly. I feel empowered to impact my community by using Wayfarer. For me, that's a strongly agree. I don't even need to elaborate. I think you guys know me, so that's a strongly agree. All right, Wayfarer is a valuable addition to my lifestyle. Yes. I get my family involved in it. My kids will say, hey, Dad, did you see this? You should nominate that. And I'm like, well, and then we'll have we'll have a discussion about why I should or I shouldn't. But yeah, it's 100% has improved my lifestyle.
Yep, agree.
We've got a podcast, so it's improved my lifestyle.
Yeah.
All right. The overall velocity of resolutions of my nomination has improved. Duh. Like that's all I can say. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I think it's actually decreased for me, but not to a point where I'm dissatisfied. Right. I am willing to give up my super fast to just have fast so that other people can have fast as well. Right. So I'm good.
And if what I have is not super fast, it sure the heck feels like it. 22 hours for a nomination to get a decision, thumbs up or thumbs down. That's all I really care about. Just tell me yes or no. But 22 hours, like it's almost approved before I remembered to go back and edit it. You know?
I'm like, exactly. Yeah. All right. Number 10 was a text box. Overall, how do you feel about being part of the Niantic Wayfarer community? I put, I don't even remember what I put here, but I put like, I feel happy. I feel engaged with my community. I feel that it brings me closer to people. It's introduced me to you, to everybody else on the network. It's opened up a whole world of stuff to me that I wasn't open before. So I feel great. That's what I put.
Right. Dude, because of Wayfarer, somebody flagged you down in New York City and talked.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Right. Like I almost be like, yo, I have a part. I wanted to put kind of stuff like that in here, but I'm like, that might be like too personally identifiable, right? So
exactly. I try to keep anything of that out there. Yeah, I said something along the same lines of that. You know, I feel proud to be part of the community. So yeah. Number 11. So please rank the following actions. 1 being what you are trying to accomplish the most, and 3 being the action you're trying to accomplish the least. Oh, shoot. I think I answered that question wrong. I think I did the inverse. Dang it.
Oh.
Or did I? I don't remember. 1 being the one you're trying to do. Oh, no, I did this one right. Yeah. So 1 being the one you're trying to do the most. Okay, so the options are mapping, adding new wayspots to the community map via Ingress or Pokemon Go. 2, suggesting edits, increasing quality of existing wayspots on the community map through Wayfarer names, photos, type, etc. And 3, reviewing wayspot contributions, deciding on the status of wayspot contribution. So I think I went mapping was number 1, reviewing was number 2, and editing was number 3 in that order.
I did mapping number 1, edits number 2, reviewing number 3. I probably could have swapped editing and reviewing, like 2 and 2, like 2A and 2B.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty much in the same boat, right? Like recently it's been reviewing because I'm kind of saving my edits, but a lot of the stuff in my area is I'm always looking for new things, but the secondary default is if I can't find new things, I'm trying to fix the things that already exist, because a lot of it is from OPR when you didn't have to have a description, so there isn't one.
Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah. So I think for Sarah Amanda, I think edits would probably be her number 1, either photo edits or written description edits. But like that woman, man, I tell you what, she is keeping the game board clean. I got to salute her. Like not even just in her hometown, but when she's out on vacation or whatever, she's fixing stuff. And I'm like, you get the gold star. So I'm looking forward to the challenge, because there's like 4 churches near me that have it's not that far, get out of your car, like the window.
Nice.
And so I'm gonna it's like I told you, I think I told you this a couple months back, like I spin it and I'm like, I really don't want to stop and take a picture, but now that there's a challenge, I'm going to. So I'm finally going to update some of those that have kind of bugged me from then on. And I've sent people some gifts and they've messaged me like, dude, you haven't fixed this? And I'm like, no, I haven't fixed it, but I'll go fix it. So,
Number 12, what do you feel is missing from Niantic Wayfarer? I put, for the love of all things holy, please fix the reporting email title bug. So,
oh man, that's good. No, that's good. I remember you saying something very similar in New York City.
Yep. I posted this in our chat with Sarah Man, or with Sea Princess and Winnie, and she's Sea Princess like, well, what does this mean? I'm like, Tintino knows. He knows.
Tintino
and then I was like, just for our listeners, if you report things in succession, when it sends you the emails, they all have the same subject line. So in Google and Gmail, it just bundles them all together. And then when they reply, they just reply and it says, we've done whatever. We can't tell you what we did, but we did something.
Yeah.
And I don't know which one they're replying to. And you know me, I like to put things in a spreadsheet and I like to put dates on things when they're done.
Exactly.
So I can keep track of this stuff, and I can't, and it frustrates me. And it's bugged me forever. And Tintino actually took a picture of my phone when we were.
I remember. Yeah.
Right. So.
I remember. What do I feel is missing most from Niantic Wayfarer? My answer was kind of aimed more at the forums, just because I think I had kind of answered everything else. But one of the things I would love on the forums is a way. And now, let me preface it by saying this could get very toxic and personal, blah, blah, blah. I understand that, but I would still love a way to message another user on the forum directly. There's been some people that have posted things on the forum, and it's like, I remember you used to say, oh, sweet summer child, just want to pet you on the head. I would love to like send that person a message and be like, dude, like let me tell you, like, I don't want to say this on the forum, but here's what's going on, just kind of give somebody a heads up. And I know there's Discord, but not everybody's on Discord and not everybody's in the same Discord. But I wish there was a way, if humans didn't human, I wish there was a way that you could reach out to people individually through the forums and kind of talk to them one-on-one.
I agree.
So that's what I think is missing. So,
yeah, I think that would kind of, I understand why they haven't.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think it could get toxic, but I think if it was managed correctly, then it usually be fine, right?
Right. Or something along the lines of Jamal wants to send C Princess a message. C Princess gets something that says, "Do you agree to get the message?" Well, then if she didn't respond, then I would know she said no. I don't know. We'd have to workshop that, but I'm sure there's some way that you could opt in to receive messages from people. I don't know, but that's one thing I think is missing. All right. So currently, what is the most useful feature for you in Niantic Wayfarer? My answer was Emily. Full stop. One word, Emily.
Yep.
I know there's more, but for me personally, it was Emily.
Yeah, no, you're definitely not wrong there. I put contribution management page because I think it's fantastic the way it's set up. It's just it's the thing that I'm in the most, right? So,
love it.
Number 14, my favorite question: are you interested in testing a new application to make a highly detailed collaborative 3D map of the world? I said, smash that like button.
I'm like,
bring it on,
baby.
Yeah button.
Yeah, exactly. That's easy.
Button. Yeah.
I hit yes on that before I even answered the question, before I even read it.
Yeah, exactly. Are you interested in contributing? Yes.
Yes. Are you? Yes. We're almost done here. How strongly do you agree or disagree with the following statements? I understand how the Niantic map is curated. Again, for me, strongly agree. If I set my wife down, she would need some tutorials and some help. But if we're talking about me, blame Jamal, Wayfarer since 2017, whatever, 18. I really understand. I probably understand the map a little too well to the point where Niantic probably would hope that people didn't understand the map as well as I do. Is that
that's fair?
Makes
that's
sense?
Fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. I'm curious. On a side note, did they start using the term curated before us or after us?
I don't know. That's your term, man. That is your term. That's your term.
Curious about that because I noticed the way they worded that question. I'm like, Anyway, just something I noticed.
The Niantic map includes new Wayspots approved by the Wayfarer community and appealed nominations. I said disagree because that's not true. So I'll read it again. The Niantic map includes new Wayspots accepted by the Wayfarer community and appealed nominations. We now have Emily in the last 6 months. So there are nominations that are being approved by the machine learning bot that is not the community and is not appealed nominations. So I think that was are you paying attention question? So I said disagree.
Well, here's the thing, Jamal. Were you paying attention? Because it doesn't say the Niantic map only includes. It just says includes. So I think you read too much into that question.
Yeah. So I was thinking it was a gotcha question, but it was a gotcha question.
It was a gotcha question, right?
It was a gotcha.
I put strongly agree. So
yeah, no, you're right.
There are other ways that things, and they have like the Foursquare imports and the Overture stuff, right? So
no, you're right. The Niantic map, yes, you are absolutely correct. I was looking at it from an absolute standpoint. All right, so the next one is the Niantic map is curated by the Wayfarer community. There's that word again. It is. It's curated by the community. It is curated by the community. So,
there are aspects of it that aren't. But even those, when they get on the map, are fixed and corrected and edited by the community. So, in a sense, they are curating them as well.
Yep, correct. Aside from appeals, the Wayfarer community decides on what contributions are accepted or declined. So this was another one that I probably read too much into because I said, aside from appeals, I was like, hey, what about Emily? And I'm like, I was thinking this is one of those "Are you paying attention?" questions. So I went in the negative on that because I'm like, aside from appeals, the Wayfarer community does, now that I'm rereading the question, but it's not the only way. And so I was looking at it as it is a way, but not the only way.
You're closer on this one because it's the way that it's worded. You could say you're wrong because the Wayfarer community decides on what contributions are accepted or declined. That's not always the case.
Right.
Like Emily takes quite a bit away from the community. So the community doesn't get to decide on those contributions, right? So I think you're right on this one. I put neither agree nor disagree because it's kind of in the middle. Emily takes quite a bit that aren't appeals, right? So I think you're fairly right on that one.
And then the last one is, I feel that reports of abuse are adequately resolved. And I said, I struggled between agree or disagree, neither agree nor disagree, and agree, because we don't really get a full picture of what happens with appeals and what happens with reports of abuse. So we'll see a message that says this person's been sanctioned or whatever, but we don't ever know what happened. Like, unless you're in that area, you see things disappear from the map. We just have to kind of trust that they did it, but we don't know. We know there's a ladder, but we don't really know. So I can't definitively agree or disagree there without kind of having some more information. Yeah.
I've reported probably more than my fair share of abuse over the years. I put agree, but there is, and I pinned this in our chat to ask the guys when we see them again in at the next Go Fest. Like, there's a report button at the top of the review UI, and then there's an abuse option in the accuracy section of the review. You don't get an email for either one of those, so I don't know. I think, does that work?
Yeah,
I don't know.
We don't
I would
have
like
a whole
to
lot
see
of
some sort of feedback from the Wayfarer team that says this is what we. I don't care to know exactly what you did, right? I think that could get weaponized to a point.
Weaponized for sure.
I'm okay with them saying, "Hey, we've done it," because I trust the Wayfarer team enough to think that they're doing an appropriate thing with the reports. And I only feel that way because I know some of the stuff that I've reported, I have had interactions with the people who did the abuse, and I know what punishment.
Yes. Oh, that's right. I remember that. Yeah, that was quite the saga.
Right. So I can
correlate. Then the person went on Twitter and tried to lie, and we had the receipts.
Yes.
I remember that.
Yeah, and that's the second. That's one of two that I've done.
Yeah,
right? So
that's right.
I can correlate what I've reported to what they got, and I trust the Wayfarer team enough to be consistent in that kind of scale. Normal people won't have that, right? But for me, I would like to see some sort of acknowledgement when I'm using the buttons in the thing. Some feedback that says, "Hey, yes, we got your report." Even if it's that, we have it, right?
Right. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I just want to know those buttons do something. You know what I mean? So that's the only problem I have with that.
Okay. Cool.
All right, where are we?
16.
Number 16. What's been a barrier to your participation? I don't have time. I don't really know where to start. The program is a bit confusing to me. I don't understand what I'm contributing towards. It's not that interesting to me / sounds boring, and the rewards aren't worth the effort. I think the only barrier to my participation at this point is the time. Like, I have so much going on in my life that I don't get to participate as much as I would like to. But I would like to see more rewards. Now that I've seen that option at the bottom, I kind of looked at that one. Do I click this just because I want to see more? No, I'm not gonna. No, that's because it's not right. I don't need the rewards out there. They are nice to have. Like, I like the challenge rewards, but it's not necessarily something that's going to drive my participation.
Exactly. And I'm with you there. It's time. And then the last question, lastly, is there anything you would like to share about your experiences with Wayfarer? I could go on for 10 minutes here. I think people know where we both stand. So I think we'll kind of let people answer that question on their own. If you want to listen to the prior 144 episodes, you can figure out where I stand in the last 100. And so you can figure out Chris stands. So I don't want to take up a whole bunch of time with that because I think you guys know where Chris and I stand. We've got a lot of the same stances. We've got some that are different, and we've got some that are diametrically opposed. So I think that's good. So, Chris, we're running long, so I'm going to go ahead and skip topic number 2. But if you can bring up, if you can bring up One's Gotta Go. I do want to do this because this is the KatettheKonz version of One's Gotta Go. So let's play the sounder.
One's gotta go. One gotta go. One gotta go, y'all. One gotta go. Wait, one gotta go. Yeah, this one gotta go. One's gotta go. One's gotta go. One's gotta go. One gotta go. 4 items to be on the list, but one gotta go.
So our fantastic executive producer KatettheKonz sent us a message in our private chat and was like, "Hey, have you guys done something like this?" And we had quite the spirited conversation about this. And Chris, you like drew a line in the sand when it came to a couple of things. So I'm gonna put this out there for the people who are listening on audio. In the upper left-hand corner, it's ranch dressing, specifically Hidden Valley Ranch. And the bottom left-hand corner, it's Frank's Red Hot sauce. And the upper right-hand corner, it's Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce. And in the bottom right-hand corner, it's Heinz ketchup. Go.
Okay. Hidden Valley Ranch. If I were to choose this option, my wife would divorce me. I would never see my children again. And I would probably end up homeless in a ditch. So we're keeping the ranch. Sweet Baby Ray's, actually, I actually kind of love that barbecue sauce. It's not one of my favorites, but I do really enjoy the Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce and just barbecue sauce in general. I'm a barbecue guy. Ketchup, it's a staple. You can't have burgers without ketchup. You just can't. It's just, I'm sorry. I get a lot of crap sometimes for putting ketchup on my hot dogs. People say, you're not 8. You shouldn't put ketchup on your hot dogs. And I say, my inner child is 8. I'm going to put whatever the hell I want on my hot dog.
Dude, you know what I do? You know what I do real quick? I lift up the hot dog and I put ketchup on the bun and then I set the hot dog on the ketchup. That's what I do.
Nice. Hide the ketchup. That's good. I got to remember that. And I think I said this in a chat. I am British white. Spices are not my friend. There's the old running joke that the British colonized half the planet in search of spices, and they don't use fucking any of them.
That's good.
I just can't spice anything hot. It's no. I break out in sweats. And there was one time that we had a potluck at work, and there was some chili. And I asked the guy who made it, and I'm like, is it spicy? And he's just like, nah, not that. It's not that bad. And they almost had to call an ambulance. Like, I almost literally passed out and died.
Yeah.
Like, why do you mean it's not that spicy? And they're like, it's not. And people are like, no, you don't know, Chris.
Yeah, you got to be careful about some people's level of spice, because I have some friends that are from deep south. South Carolina, Louisiana, Mississippi, and if they say it's not that hot, run. So ranch dressing has to stay. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. We put ranch on everything. Like, even stuff you're not supposed to put ranch on, you put ranch on it in the South. Like you order ranch with everything. Like, doesn't matter what the meal is. Can I have a bowl of cereal and a side of ranch? Like, you get ranch with everything. So ranch has got to stay. Now, this is where it gets a little nuancy. If we're talking about Sweet Baby Ray's specifically, it's got to go. But if we just say barbecue sauce in general, it's got to stay. So being that I live in Charlotte, who has the best barbecue in the world, I don't care what people from Memphis or Kansas or Texas, you guys could all get the finger. It's Carolina barbecue. And we've got two. We've got the Eastern style and the Western style. And then we've got the South Carolina style. So Carolinas have got three different kind of barbecue. Anyways, I'm going to get way off topic. We'll have to get some other barbecue people on here to kind of have this fight. So if we're talking barbecue sauce in general, then it can stay. But if it's Sweet Baby Ray's, I could go to 4 or 5 of the local joints down the road and get a better barbecue sauce that they serve there than Sweet
That's
Baby
fair.
Ray's. But we'll just say barbecue sauce in general gets to stay. Ketchup is a staple. It's just a staple. Like, you can do so much with ketchup. I love ketchup. I put ketchup on. Some people put ketchup on eggs. I kind of draw the line there. I don't know if you put ketchup on eggs or not, but that's one of the places I draw the line. But ketchup's got to stay. So for me, Chris, I have lost my man card throughout my life 50, 60, 70 times because I don't put hot sauce on anything. There was a joke at a place that I used to work. We'd go out to lunch and they go, "Can you give him the blandest thing on the menu?" And I'm like, "Stop it." They would give me the hardest stuff. Yeah. I would go to order. They just give them the blandest thing on the menu. And I'm like, I like to taste my food and not taste the roof of my mouth peeling off my face. So my dad is from Mississippi, RIP. My dad passed away years ago, but my dad's from Mississippi and he would make things so unbearably hot to eat that it just was, I couldn't do it. I've never been a hot sauce guy. So hot sauce for me has got to go. I know some people love it. And being a Southerner now, when people figure out that I don't put hot sauce on stuff, they kind of give me this kind of look. And when this really comes into play, like if I bring food somewhere, like they're like, "Oh, Jamal, go get wings." And I'll go get wings for everybody. And I'll come back and they'll, "Where's the hot sauce?" And I'm like, "Oh," they're like, "You didn't get any hot sauce?" And I'm like, "I don't eat hot sauce, so I don't think." "What?" I'm like, "Hey, but I got 6 bottles of ranch." They're like, "Oh, okay. All right. You're good. You're good."
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I can't do spicy.
Also, we'll have to do this later. Are you a blue cheese guy?
Not really, no.
Okay, I'm a blue cheese guy. Okay. All right, everybody. We'll go to break. We're running long. We apologize, but we're gonna wrap it up. We have Wayspot of the week and Coal of the week coming up here in just a second. So we're gonna play the dad jokes, and we'll come back on the other side.
Are you serious? This again? It's season 3.
What did the mother broom say to the baby broom? "Time to go to sweep." What do mermaids use to wash their tails? Tide. How many stormtroopers does it take to unscrew a light bulb? None, because they're all on the dark side. What do you call a dog who goes to therapy? A werewolf. What do you call the security guards for Samsung? Guardians of the Galaxy. Yesterday, I bought a thesaurus. I got home, I opened it up, and all the pages were blank. I have no words to describe just how angry I am. What did Elvis say to his landscaper? "Oh, well, thank you very much." All right, everybody, welcome back to episode number 145 of the Wayspotters podcast. You're with Chris and you're with Jamal, and we are going to go directly into Wayspot of the week. We got a nomination from Lachlan, who sent us he's in Texas, so co-host of the Special Conditions podcast, Justin, and his beautiful now wife Jody got married last weekend, so congratulations to them. And so Lachlan came over to celebrate the wedding, and he made some nominations. He made some nominations in the U.S. So this one is from Lachlan, and he made the nomination in Oklahoma. So this one, it's called Wildcatters Ranch Hotel. And the description on this reads: This award-winning ranch ranked in the top 20 hotels in the state of Texas. Oh, I thought this was perfect for any traveler who lives their American dreams. Operated on this site since 2004. So some people might say that it's a generic business, but this is a really good example of how to get a hotel in when it has a really good story. And what you're looking at is it's kind of giving you this it's giving Western, it's giving kind of like stick 'em up, quick draw, like big $10 hat. So it's a picture of the hotel, and it's very simple, just says hotel, and it's got the windows on the front with like the old Western shutters. So it's pretty good. And I told Lachlan to send it to us so we'd make it Wayspot of the week.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's a really good hotel.
Yep.
It's something like that. Like if it's kind of classic and it's unique, then you can get those things through fairly easily.
For sure. All right, so we'll go on to Wayspot of the week number 2.
Hey, it's Little Pound Cake. The Wayspotters think you should be nominating more stuff like this.
Okay, Wayspot of the week number 2 comes to us from, I think this was Bread in the, I'm assuming the Wayfarer discussion Discord, or the German one.
Yes, the German Wayfarer discussion Discord. So I'll preface this in honor of the surveys being messed up in German. We have a German Wayspot of the week. So that's
now I get to mess up the description in German.
Yeah.
German's just getting messed up left, right, and center this week.
I saw the dramatic pause when you pulled it up and looked at it. You're like, oh man.
You know what's funny is I saw it in the notes when you sent it to me, and then I completely forgot about it. So genuine reaction there. The title is Steinernbrücke, and it is a beautiful stone arch bridge going over a river. You can see the clouds in the background and a little bit of a village in the back. And this looks like a clock tower on the left-hand side of it. You can see the edge of it. It's a gorgeous picture of this beautiful, beautiful bridge. The description is 1135 bis 1146 Erbaut Steinerbes Brückenbauwerk und damit die Alast erhalten Brücke Deutschlands durch ihre Lage als ehemals ein Sieg Donaubrück zwischen Ulm und Wein Verbrand Seivelle Fernhad Wessege aus dem Süden mit dem Norden was Regenberg durch soll in Amen so groben Reichtum verhaft Anfang das 20 Jahrhunderts would die Bruch von der Regensburger Straubahn genutzt Zweischhagenseiligt für den Straubau Ben Verdecker und Mittelwell zur baulichen Bewahrung nur nach der Fanfüb und Radwerker. So
there's a reason why I don't do this every week. You're such a trooper, man. That's tough. That's tough. I have no idea what it says. Yeah, that was a big one.
Idea. There's years in there. I'm assuming it was built in the 1100s and place names in there because they're capitalized. But if you're German and you understood any of that,
we'll have to ask friend of the show Kroner if he can help.
We'll have to ask Kroner. Yeah. That's awesome.
All right, let's go on to Coal of the Week.
I've been working on the Wayfarer all the live long day. I've been working on the Wayfarer just to pass the... Oh no. Hey Jamal, I found some coal.
First of all, I got to say, Portland, my hometown, you got to do better. This is embarrassing. This is 100% absolutely embarrassing. So for those of you listening on audio, the name of this POI is called Nelson Garden Kid Crossing. Playground area frequented by kids at Nelson Garden Townhomes, area for local residents to area for local residents and guests to gather. So what you're looking at in the picture is this is embarrassing. So you know those little things you put up like at the school crossing guard, like it's a piece of plastic and it looks like a little kid holding a flag with like a red cap on and it says slow on the side. It's that. And it's sitting next to a fence in an alleyway. And that's it. That's the POI. It's a very movable piece of plastic that you put out, like when you're like if you're having a 5K and they want to block the street off, it's one of the things that you put out. So Chris, bring up the next image. And I want to read the supporting information. So it's literally an alleyway, and there's a fence with some like "Don't park here," and there's a manhole cover. But the supporting information says this permanent sign represents a safe area for kids to play after school. Nelson Gardens has a high density of young trainers who do not have a community park. Therefore, this is a design safe area outside in which the community gathers. Wow. Now, I have been known to stretch, but this is bad, Chris. This is really bad.
This person pulled a hammy stretching.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's first of all, where we talked about supporting pictures, this is just a terrible supporting picture because where's the you could have moved the thing into this picture. Right?
No.
No.
They couldn't have moved it because they said it was permanent.
Oh, that's right. You're right. I'm sorry. You're right. I'm sorry.
Permanent,
That's my bad. You're right. And second of all, if you have to put up one of them, slow down. Is it really safe? Is it?
I know. Yes. The irony on this just goes so
Is
far.
it though?
Oh,
Is it though?
man. You know, this I'll venture to say, if we have a Coal of the Year, I'd like to submit this for Coal of the Year. I'm just saying, like we've seen some bad ones. There was one in the Discord the other day of the Photoshop. Do you remember seeing that of like the trail marker? That was pretty. But this one is just like, So maybe when we get towards the end of season 3, maybe one of the first 2 episodes in season 4. We do a Coal of the Year from season 3. I don't know. We'll talk about that. But this one struck me. I'm like, come on, Portland. You got to do better.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. We're running super long. You got anything else?
Oh, man. I'm good. Close us out.
All right. So we cannot have an episode of Wayspotters without shouting out our executive producer, KatettheKonz. And KatettheKonz got to have her One's Got to Go this week. So you rock. Now, hey, we love all of our patrons, and they all give us really good stuff for the show. So we really appreciate you. So thank you for listening to this episode of Wayspotters. If you like what you heard, there's a couple ways that you can show us. The first thing we'd love for you to do is to follow us on X, almost at Twitter. We are at Wayspotters. We are also on Instagram at Wayspotters Podcast, and we are also on TikTok at I Make Wayspots. So on all of our socials, you can see our dad jokes, which if you guys are paying attention, I've been catching up on the dad jokes. I've been posting a new one every day until we get caught up. So that is on our Instagram, and we try to be incredibly responsive, and we really love interacting with our listeners. You can also visit our website at www.wayspotters.com. From there, you can get links to everywhere you can download the show. And you can also send us a message directly from the website. And you can send us an email at wayspotters@pokemonprofessor.com. Now, if you're out there doing the Lord's work, you are listening to the show, and you're also following us on YouTube. For those of you who are on YouTube, Chris, tell the people what they should do.
Click the like button. Also, click subscribe and the bell to be notified whenever we post a new video.
And if you would like to hear your voice on the show, you can call our hotline, 704-426-3710. You never know, your voicemail may appear on an upcoming episode of the show, or you can send us a tweet from X. And finally, if you're not a member of the Pokemon Professor Network Patreon, you can join for as little as $1 US a month. All you need to do is go to www.patreon.com/Pokemon Professor. You will have access to the Discord for the entire family of shows across the Pokemon Professor Network, including Wayspotters, Special Conditions, Gotta Watch 'Em All, Purified Podcast, Good Morning Johto, Sleep It Off, after Darkrai and lured up. It's a fantastic place filled with fantastic people. And one last thing, if you guys could all do us a favor on the podcatcher that you are listening to us on now, if you could be so kind as to go in and give us a review. 5 stars are the best reviews, but we want you to give us what we earned. And if you are an extra all-star and you have a podcatcher that will allow you to send a written review, write a written review, and one of us will read it on the show. With that, we look forward to you listening to us again next week. We want to thank you for listening to the Wayspotters. And remember, what's a few meters between friends?